had to leave Earth tomorrow and journey into space, what would you carry with you in a time capsule to be discovered in the future to represent your identity? Every single one of us in this room is going to become part of an ancient civilization, and the things that we own that can stand the test of time have the potential to be studied as a piece of history and become an artifact for the future, to be evolved for new generations in space. In a digital world of hype culture, viral moments, and fast transient trends, we could risk losing our historical relevance and unique physical legacies. So much of what we do and our identities revolve around social media, and these platforms can disappear and change over time. If we pay attention to our meaningful items and treasure them and build memories around them, that's what we know will outlive us. Who here today is wearing a piece of jewelry or owns any object that has sentimental value to them? Let me tell you a story of a voyage about jewelry and objects that has sentimental value to me, and that illustrates why the past can inform creative concepts for the future. It was 1958 in Alexandria, Egypt. My dad, age 4, and his family were forced to leave in exile due to their Jewish religion or face death. They left by boat as refugees, having to leave all their possessions behind them. The only thing that they smuggled out was a box of precious jewelry and objects. They arrived to London completely penniless, and 3 generations living in a tiny bedsit. Yet they still chose not to sell the items, including gold and diamonds, as it was the only physical reminder of the home that they had lost. And that had a value that far exceeded that of money. The box was locked up in a vault in Midland Bank, London. 14 years ago, our family got a letter saying the vault was shutting. The day to go and retrieve the box and its contents will be forever etched in my memory. We entered the vault via a huge turnstile and went into a room that was wall-to-wall grids of silver metal boxes. It felt like a futuristic Aladdin's cave of wonder, each box bursting with mysteries, secrets, and treasures, so precious to their owners that it needed that level of security to protect them. If those boxes could talk, what would they say? Our box was opened via 2 keys, and we were led to a private room to unwrap its contents, which to me was a family time capsule. It contained Egyptian-made jewelry and objects from the Victorian era through to the 50s. The whole experience felt like these beautiful unwrapping layers of time, history, and meaning. It was a deeply emotional moment, and my love and obsession for jewelry was crystallized forever. I learned that it had a soul. The vault itself had its own story to tell, and was actually used in the James Bond film Goldfinger to represent Fort Knox. Fast forward to the modern day, and the bank was transformed into the Grand Hotel, the Ned, London, and the vault evolved into its next use, a members club intended to contain London's hedonistic cocktail drinkers, where mysteries and secrets are far more easily spilled. Why do inanimate objects mean so much to us, and what do they communicate about us? My family story got me thinking of jewelry and objects as your personal identity. They're your home, your values, your history, your memories. They are not just objects. I wear the heirlooms today to remember my family and in honor of their journey and of our heritage. You can't take it with you when you die, right? Well, as we know from history, the ancient Egyptian pharaohs thought otherwise. Perhaps in a way, could they be right? If we are conscious about what we leave behind when we pass on, then people will know what was important to us. How can we design, consume, and prepare for a future in space in order to preserve our history? One way to go forwards may actually be to look back. I've always thought as the ancients as the original futurists, as what they created, had a meaning so strong and it was made so well and so beautifully that it endured centuries and is still evolving today. We can thank the ancients for the wisdom they left behind with their objects and ask ourselves, what value are we going to give to the future generations in space with what we are creating now? If you had to start a new civilization from scratch, what would you take with you to start its foundations? Well, we will get that chance. As humanity is going to live in space, it's inevitable. So the choices that we make now will have a butterfly effect and affect change for future generations and become part of human history just as it has always been. So, are we going to want to be known as the generation that indulges in fleeting trends and buys throwaway items? Or take what we've learned about ethical sustainability and build around meaningful, sentimental items intended to last, inspire, and educate? I've worked in fashion for over 18 years, across luxury, catwalk, and high street. And this has taught me the true value of sentimental items within history. They are as important to sustainability as materials, as what we give meaning to, which celebrates us as unique, beautiful individuals, is far less likely to get thrown away. One ancient object that's retained its relevance throughout history is the amulet, a good luck charm intended to provide protection and mystical healing to its possessor. Amulets could include jewelry, some of which opens, statues, coins, or parchment paper for drawings, songs, literature, or poetry, anything that is meaningful. Perhaps this emotional armor or spiritual bodyguards could be a popular choice to take into space, as it reminds us of our home and of our loved ones and protects us as we voyage into the deep unknown. Behind the popularity of amulets is the human need for meaning and divine or spiritual energy. How we find our tribe, our religion, spirituality, hope, faith, community, this sense of belonging is so key to the forming of any new civilization. Can you think of the heritage or family values that you'd want to continue, and those you might want to break free from or evolve? I had a religious upbringing, Christianity and Judaism, and whilst deeply respecting both, I chose to follow my own path. If I said the phrase spiritual awakening to you, I'd probably get a very well-deserved set of eye rolls. But I did happen to kamikaze down the rabbit hole. The how and the why made absolutely no sense at the time and later became very clear. And indeed, here we are right now on the red dots. My faith in a higher power was cemented forever that day. My spirituality became part of my identity, and this in turn infused into my creative concepts as a designer. Going through a particularly stressful period in the demanding world of fashion, around 4 years ago, I sought the help of crystalline Reiki healing to calm my nerves, ground me, and bring me back to equilibrium. Fashion is such a huge part of culture that I felt more good energy within this region would only be a good thing. So reflecting on my family story and the previous call-in, I alchemized this into an innovative amulet where you can interchange crystals based on the energy that you seek, as this is not fixed. I wanted to create spiritual high fashion, traditionally a bohemian domain, inspired by the concept of ancient and spiritual futurism, I believe that jewelry and objects can embody our aspirations for a life in space. Imagining what this amulet set for space may look and feel like, it was strong, powerful, sustainable, genderless, inclusive, contemporary, and futuristic. Visualization is manifestation, and 9 months later, the cosmic amulet was worn by Grimes to the Met Gala. She later told Vogue that she had aspirations to die on Mars, and giving her connections, I'd say watch this space. Whatever you think about the healing power of crystals, we can surely all agree they're a beautiful gift from Mother Earth, and perhaps beyond. Ever heard of the Philosopher's Stone? Well, my crystal and amulet of choice today is actually extraterrestrial. Moldavite, known by some as this stone of legends, was forged 15 million years ago when an asteroid crashed down from the heavens into the Czech Republic. The heat and the impact formed a green glass alien-like crystal, said to be the most powerful on our planet. Known as a stone of transformation, it dramatically pushes away what is not meant for you and draws towards you what is. For those of you navigating the world of dating, this could be the stone for you. And surely better to say, that just wasn't vibrationally aligned with me, rather than, yeah, I got ghosted again. The ancient Egyptians prized crystals for their mystical healing properties. Was this the original wellness culture? Given our current climate, it's no surprise that people are seeking wellness in its many guises for their stress and anxiety concerns. And surely practices and objects around this would be a popular choice to start a civilization in space. Diamonds are forever. The iconic marketing campaign by De Beers helped to cement their value on Earth as longevity is desirable. Could this forever stretch further than they thought? Can you imagine a place where it actually rains diamonds? If you think this sounds otherworldly, you would be right. Space scientists have proven that on planet Neptune, it does indeed rain diamonds due to the high carbon and hydrogen content. The first person to make a ring from the diamonds of Neptune will surely make history. Then the mysterious meteor rock, Psyche 16, lurking away near Mars and Jupiter, is said to contain precious metals worth trillions. If we can cultivate a culture now on Earth around ethical and sustainable mining practices and the use of recycled metals, just think how this will inspire the future generations in space when they start creating with their jewels of the galaxy future wonders to be loved, to be cherished, and to be passed down. We are about to enter the second space age in fashion and culture. Who's ready? And what are we wearing? The next moon mission is imminent. It's booked for November 24 this year. And there's already a pioneering collaboration underway between the great fashion house Prada and NASA to design the spacesuits. Unlike the first space age in the 60s, this won't merely be space-like avant-garde, but utilitarian. Pieces we can actually wear to lead the Earth in. And as this continues, surely a more personalized approach to space fashion and accessorizing will most certainly ensue. And as we cycle forwards, other planets will get discovered. Gravity is actually less on Mars, so humans will be taller. So Mars is actually the perfect breeding ground for the first generation of Martian supermodels, once we cycle forwards to cosmic runways, that is. As we embark on commercial space travel and eventual planet colonization, There will be the building of new communities and cultures, a fresh landscape for artists, dreamers, and visionaries. Space adventure and travel will eventually evolve into everyday life. Our precious and meaningful items that we adorn ourselves with or carry are a visual manifestation of our values, adventures, and experience on Earth. They weave beautiful stories of what makes each of us so unique. If we do not focus on creating, preserving, and passing it down, our individual history could be lost, and we could risk taking away from the generations in space the most valuable things to us from planet Earth, our jewels of wisdom. Our digital identities on social media have a fragile future, as these platforms can get banned or our profiles disappear at any time. If we rely solely on this, we could risk wiping out the mark that we made on the world, our legacies, and that is priceless. Wouldn't it be beautiful to gaze into a life of space with a utopian lens of infinite possibilities and be proud of the foundations that we laid and dictated from what we left behind? And just imagine if a future Martian discovered your personal time capsule in the red sands of time on planet Mars. What stories, what legends may they tell of your life on planet Earth? And how may this inspire and create their future? Thank you.